はい、start, please.
This is Cardionics eScope 2 electronic stethoscope, clinical model 718-7700. This is an electronic stethoscope that amplifies sounds about 30 times louder than an acoustic scope. All the controls are on the head of the stethoscope. You have 64 volume positions. It will remember your last volume setting. There is a heart sound and a breath sound filter. When you turn the eScope on, you'll be ready to listen to heart sounds. To listen to breath sounds, you'll press the button. Once the unit turns off, you'll be ready to listen to heart sounds. You will simply place the stethoscope in your ear. You can turn the unit on, place it against your patient, and you'll be ready to listen. This unit comes with an adult specialist diaphragm. We do have an adult specialist bell and a pediatric specialist bell. These bells are machined from stainless steel. They will help to improve the quality of the sound by about 30% to allow your client to concentrate on the heart sounds while screening out some of the background sounds from the room. This unit has the ability to be connected to your PC, a PDA. You can add a headphone if you would like to have a second listener for teaching. Our other unit, hearing impaired model, it comes with lightweight headphones that can be worn over the top of a hearing aid, so your client can listen to heart sounds without the need to remove their hearing aids. They can also leave the hearing aids in place, which will allow them to listen to their clients if they need to speak with them while they're using the stethoscope. You would simply place the headphones over the top of the ear canal. If you had a hearing aid on, that would remain behind the ear or in the ear. You can turn the equipment on, again, with any of the buttons on the head. You can adjust the volume. When you're ready to listen to heart sounds, you simply listen. If you want to hear lung sounds, you press this button. You will go to lung sounds. If you want to go back to heart sounds, you can press the button. This unit has a belt clip, so you can clip it to your waistband. Or you can drape it around your neck for easy carrying, and this belt clip can be removed. This unit also has a side output jack. It can be connected to a computer, a PDA. We can also use this equipment with a silhouette. This is a telecoil device which will send the heart sounds into the T-coil program of a hearing aid. It's important that your T-coil programs have the frequency boundary lowered to 100 Hertz in order to hear heart sounds. Another device that can allow you to connect to your hearing aid is a direct audio input cable. You will notice that our cables have a square USB type port to connect to the side, which is best for accessories. The other end has a standard Euro plug, which will connect to an audio shoe. This audio shoe will snap on to a BTE style hearing aid. You will need to be sure that the hearing aid has the program adjusted to 100 Hertz on the corresponding program to allow those heart sounds to be heard. We can also connect a headphone to this output jack for a second listener if your client is a student. They have the ability for a second listener. We can we have a 2-minute timer on these e-scopes, so they will turn themselves off in 2 minutes, or a little less than 2 minutes. We can extend the timer to 8 minutes, 30 minutes, or we can disable the timer, so you would have to turn the unit off by removing the battery. Our e-scope runs on a single AAA battery that you can purchase at the store. This will last about 4 to 6 months with regular use.
Okay.
This is our Cardionics e-scope EMS unit. We use this in emergency situations where there is a lot of noise in the environment. You will notice these come with large aviator-style headphones. These headphones can be worn right over the top of the ear with a hearing aid left in place if your user has a hearing aid. This unit has 2 different places to control. There's a volume switch on the ear pad, which will allow you to turn the equipment up or down. The volume can be adjusted here. There's also a button which will allow you to switch from lung sounds to heart sounds. The e-scope EMS head has a second volume control with the same controls. There's a plus and a minus to adjust the volume up and down, and a filter. With the e-scope EMS, the default is to lung sounds. When you turn the equipment on, you'll be ready to listen to lung sounds. If you want to hear heart sounds, you'll press either the black dot button or the filter switch button here on the ear pad of the unit. The e-scope EMS runs on a single AA battery, which can be purchased easily at the supermarket or drugstore. This unit has a stethoscope cable assembly which can be easily disconnected, and the unit will fold up for storage. Here at Cardionics, we have 3 different styles of headphones that can be used with our eScope 2 electronic stethoscope. We have a traditional style headphone. This has a headband that is worn up over the top of the head. The ear pads are simply placed over the top of the ears. There is a volume control which will allow you to turn the volume down quickly if you need to. We call these our traditional style headphones. They can be used for comfort. They can be used for behind the ear style hearing aids or in the ear style hearing aids, which can be left in place while using the eScope. We have a convertible style headphone. These headphones are handy. They will fold up into a very small, and they can be fit into a pouch, which I don't have with me, but there is a pouch. These convertible style headphones will open up. The headband is adjustable, and they can be worn with it up over the top of the head. or we can swivel the ear pads and wear them back behind the neck. These are the convertible style. The headband can be worn either down or up. If you're in a high noise environment, we have a larger style headphone. This has a headband that will fold also. It can be placed in a lab coat pocket. If you have a client that is wearing behind the ear style hearing aids or in the ear style hearing aids, this is an option. These headphones will simply be placed right over the top of the ears. They will plug into the top of the e-scope, and you're ready to listen. And those are the three different styles of headphones. There's the traditional style with a volume control headband on top of the head. There's a convertible style with the headband that can be worn up or down. And there's a large aviator style with a collapsible headband. We have clients that use the e-scope with their cochlear implants. One way to connect to a cochlear implant is to use a personal audio cable. The personal audio cable is supplied with the cochlear implant speech processor. It has a special connector on one end that will plug into the bottom of the speech processor of the cochlear implant. The other end of the personal audio cable can end with a female port or a male plug. This one ends with a female port. To connect to the e-scope, we will use a patch cord. This patch cord has a square plug to connect to the side output jack. This end will plug into the patch cord of the will plug into the personal audio cable, which will plug into the bottom of their speech processor of the cochlear implant. In order to use the e-scope with a cochlear implant, you will need a stethoscope program with the lower frequency boundary adjusted to 100 Hertz. There are other personal audio cords that end with a male plug. If this is the case, Cardionics can make a patch cord to end with a female connector, which will connect to that personal audio cable.
Hello, I'd like to introduce you to Sam 2. This is a student auscultation mannequin. Sam has a number of features that are helpful for the student. The first is that you can use your own stethoscope with Sam. Using a standard acoustic stethoscope, place your stethoscope in any one of the normal acoustic listening places and you'll hear the correct sound. For group teaching, we oftentimes use the simulscope, which is this product right here. This is an infrared transmitter, and it allows teaching of large groups, like a classroom of 20 or 25 individuals. The way this will operate is you'll place this on Sam, or it can be placed on a patient. This is battery operated and can be taken to the bedside. The sounds are heard by the student by wearing one of these infrared headphones. This is called the Hartman infrared headphone. The infrared will come from in here into this little window. And you turn it on by a thumb wheel switch on the side, which will let you adjust the volume. So we'll place this on Sam. and I can now hear the sounds. I can hear heart and breath sounds simultaneously. Now, if you looking at the monitor, you have the advantage of being able to see a phonocardiogram with every sound. Currently, we are listening to the sound of aortic. We're looking at atrial septal defect. So you're seeing a fixed splitting of the second sound. You'll see that in yellow, and in blue you'll see the breath sounds. So you see heart and breath sounds at the same time. To change from one position to another, I simply take the mouse, move it to the correct anatomical position, and then I will hear that same sound, but it will be different because it's at the aortic area or the tricuspid area or the mitral area. Listening to breath sounds, I click on the right lower lung, and you can see the breath sounds are shown on the monitor at the same time. Looking over here, you'll see the name of the sound. This is atrial septal defect. If I want to compare atrial septal defect to another sound, I would simply click here and select another sound. I'll put on aortic stenosis, and then just simply double click on it, and now you have aortic stenosis. So it's very easy for me to place the stethoscope here, and I'm listening now to atrial septal defect at the aortic area. Let's put it at the pulmonic area. And you'll see the fixed splitting of the second sound, and now we're playing aortic stenosis now, so we want to compare that with atrial septal defect. We simply click on that sound. So, and we're going to compare that, put it at the correct spot. Now for the student, we have a lesson right here for every sound. So by clicking on the lesson tab, this will bring up a complete lesson on atrial septal defect or any other sound that the student is listening to. This lesson has a discussion. It has a schematic of the chest showing where best to listen, and then it gives you a series of phonocardiograms so you'll know what you should be hearing at each location, and then it gives you a series of questions and answers. Now, in case the student forgets what he is forgets his basic auscultation, there's a basic auscultation lecture which occurs on every sound, and this is a longer lesson but covers all the basics of cardiac auscultation. As I said, every sound has a lesson, including lung sounds and vowel sounds. Now, for the instructor, we can set set up a lecture. So I'll begin by we have a sample lecture set up here, so we'll go ahead and select that. Now you can see down here we have a lecture in process. So to change from one sound to the next, we simply click on the advanced arrow, and the next sound will come up. This is now atrial septal defect at the aortic area. I'll click on it again. You'll see we're now on sound 3, which is normal breath sounds. And this is simply a demonstration of the capabilities. Now we're on physiological splitting. You can also listen at different places. Physiological splitting of the second sound has a splitting of the second sound during inspiration, and during expiration that split closes. You can see that on the monitor, and you can hear it on SAM. So with Sam, you have the ability to not only listen to sounds, but you also have the ability to feel a systolic thrill in certain sounds. We have two thrills. A thrill is a sound that you will feel with the palm of your hand. We have a thrill of severe aortic stenosis, and you'll feel it here with the palm of your hand, with this part of your hand. The thrill will radiate up into the neck. If you place a stethoscope on the neck, you'll also hear severe aortic stenosis in the neck. We also have a thrill for ventricular septal defect, which will be heard right here in the tricuspid area. Sam also has a carotid pulse in the neck. This is placed here so that with fast heart sounds, the student can feel where the onset of systole begins. The onset of systole begins with S1, and the pulse is very close to S1. If you can zoom in, you can see my finger pulsing a little bit. And Sam has 27 heart sounds at the correct anatomical location. He has 20 breath sounds. You can listen both in the anterior chest, in the upper chest, and the lower chest. Also on the back. There are 4 listening places there. You can separate the lungs left and right, and also upper and lower, so that you can have diminished breath sounds down here, normal breath sounds here, if desired. If you want to listen to a pneumothorax, you can turn off the sounds on this side and listen on this side, or vice versa. For listening to bowel sounds, there are 2 bowel sound listening places in the upper left and right quadrants. There are 20 bowel sounds. Going back to sounds of the heart, you'll also have 4 bruit sounds. Bruits are murmur-like sounds that occur in the neck, and you'll feel them right here. You only feel that on one side because we have a speaker on one side and we have a carotid pulse on the other. Sam gives you a complete course in cardiac, pulmonary, and bowel auscultation. You have all of the sounds you can select by menu. You can see every sound on the screen. You can play heart sounds and lung sounds at the same time, so you'll hear them just as you would on a real patient. Congestive heart failure, for example, you'd hear an S3, probably in the mitral area. Okay. When listening to a patient's sound, there's a series of 8 graphic equalizers, and you can accentuate or attenuate any frequency of the heart or breath sounds. The normal breath sounds are listed on the top label, so you know exactly where to put them. The X's are for heart sounds, and the zeros are for lung sounds. That shows you the normal settings. If you wish to accentuate a murmur, murmurs will run in the neighborhood of 150 to 400 hertz, and so you can move up these graphic equalizers and reduce the heart sounds to a lower volume. The first and second heart sounds are between 70 and 120 hertz. So you can move these down while accentuating the murmur. That's very helpful for students if they have trouble hearing a very soft AI blow, for example. For using this in a classroom teaching situation, we have the ability to plug this into the line power, and then this can be used either on patients or it can be used on mannequins such as Sam, the mannequin we have here, which has heart, lung, and bowel sounds, and this allows students to all hear simultaneously. The simulscope is equipped with a bell and a diaphragm. It's a stainless steel diaphragm, and to listen to bell, you simply twist it over and you have a stainless steel bell, which is normally how cardiologist will teach heart sounds. The simulscope runs on battery operation, and when the battery is fully charged, it will run for 3.5 to 4 hours. At any time that the battery begins to run low, this light will start to turn orange, which gives you an indication that you have about 30 minutes left on the battery. Simply plug in the charger and it will resume operations immediately. Simulscope has more than one model. It has a standard model, which is for heart sounds. There's a second model, which allows you to have heart sounds and EKG at the same time. And that can be shown on a computer monitor where you have two channels displayed at the same time. It's a simple product to use. It's very effective. It's been used for teaching, for clinical use, and for telemedicine use. It's FDA approved and has been on the market for some time. It's been one of our most successful products. It can be used with Harvey, the cardiology patient mannequin from the University of Miami, or the Simulator K mannequin from Kyoto Kugaku. That is about all there is to it. On the rear panel, there's an accessory output which can go to a computer if you wish. And on some models, as I mentioned, there's an ECG output. So you can have a 3-lead ECG plus heart sounds.